Attorney Zach Bailey here with the Marc Lopez Law Firm to talk a little bit about what happens if you refuse a chemical test. Now, in most instances, you are not supposed to give the state any evidence against yourself. There is no reason to ever help the police out with an investigation by saying, yeah, let's go do a chemical test. In this case, it's different. If a police officer reads you what's called Indiana's implied consent law, and they'll pull it out of their pocket and read it from a little card and tell you, I have reason to believe you operated a vehicle while intoxicated. At that point, they're telling you they have probable cause to take you for a chemical test. And if you don't consent to that test, you're looking at a mandatory 1-year license suspension if it's your first ever OVWI case. If you've had a prior, you're looking at a 2-year license suspension right off the bat. And that's an administrative suspension. That's not even coming from the court for your OVWI case. So any OVWI suspension is tacked on top of that refusal suspension. So the punishment is very severe if you decide not to consent to a chemical test. Again, it's counterintuitive because we always tell you, plead the fifth. Don't give any evidence against yourself. This is a weird subset of law where it is in your best interest to agree to a chemical test with the officer. At that point, even if you refuse, they are most likely going to get a warrant from a judge, take it to the hospital, and still take blood out of your arm and still get a test result from you. In rare instances, it doesn't happen, but for the most part, that's what's going to happen. And then it's up to us to try to get that refusal negotiated off of your case. Oftentimes we're able to do it, but sometimes the courts and the prosecutors are not willing to. In Boone County, for example, they're typically not willing to get rid of a refusal until you've served at least 6 months of a 1-year suspension. In Hancock County, it's very difficult to get it off at all. So it varies county by county what we're going to be able to do with that refusal suspension. Now, a lot of people will tell you, you did the wrong thing by going to the breath test. You should have refused. In this case, that's not really true. In Indiana, it is in your best interest to go for that chemical test and agree to it. They're going to get that result either way. Now, if you've already refused, it's not too late for us to do something about it. We deal with refusals every single day. We never want someone to accept anything that's going to lead to that license being suspended for that full year, plus another OVWI suspension at the back end of it. So give us a call if you're facing a refusal suspension on an OVWI case, so we can talk about your options and what we can do to try to get that refusal eliminated. Give us a call, 317-632-3642. And remember, always plead the fifth, unless they ask you if you consent to a breath test.